Joe, are you familiar with the TV personality, podcast personality, and general humorist John Hodgman?
Yeah, I love them. I bought all those stupid fucking fake almanacs. I really like those. I think they started coming out when I was in college, and I
Yeah.
was one of those. Like, I had them day one as the second and third ones came out. I thought they were very funny.
Yeah. The first one, the areas of my expertise, that was a classic. Then More Information Than You Require, book 2, that was pretty good as well.
It's a really good title too. I really like that title. It's really good.
And then That Is All, his final of the fake almanacs, was also extremely funny. So I loved them. I gotta say that I too, as they were coming out, day one purchases, I'd read them as quickly as I could, would reread them. I thought that John Hodgman had some of the best humor writing I've ever seen, in a style that I was unfamiliar with, that really inspired me in a real way to think about writing and comedy more seriously than I ever had before.
Right. It was a really good example of being smart and dumb at the same time, which contrasts that with like the fucking McSweeney's joke book of book jokes.
Yeah.
When it's a bunch of shit I don't know, and I will never understand. That's what I previously associated with smart. And
yeah,
then
this ain't no shouts and murmurs shit. This is like dumb for idiots.
Yeah, but like you have to know enough to be dumb in an intentional, fun way. Like there's a lot of fake history, and like it's not all like totally fake. You have to have like the real timeline that you goof on.
And also, he was a real early adopter of something that we both still love to this day, which is putting far, far, far more effort into a joke than it warrants, and far, far, far more effort into a joke than it will return to you in terms of praise and reward. Part of the joke being, I put in way too much work in this joke, which I think the case in point is, for every one of his books, he would have like a list of 700 of something. For the first one, the sort of the signature list was the list of 700 hobo names, which was amazing because you would read like 50 hobo names and you'd ha at each one, and then you'd be like, holy fuck, I'm not going to read any more of this. But he wrote 650 more, and that's part of the joke.
Yeah. The second one was mole people or something.
Yeah, I forget what the last one was, but but what I'm trying to get at, Joe, is that we both know that John Hodgman, he's great. He's really got a sharp comic mind that has shaped us in real, tangible ways.
How's he posting these days? I'm just assuming the trend that we spoke of, everything being good, good opinions, that is unbroken.
So Joe, This is a weird yes. I recently saw a post from John Hodgman. It was posted October 12th, 2021. As of recording, that day is yesterday. And, well, I guess I'll just read it to you, Joe. From John Hodgman, author of Areas of My Expertise, More Information Than You Require, and That Is All.
Books we love.
He writes the following, quote, confirmed, the next season is Ted Lasso coaching Squid Game.
Here's two things you freaks like. Everything is What If Mario Met Batman. We've it's the end point for all of things. Is What If Mario Met Batman? Stephen Colbert has to do the vaccine dance. Anyone we like even remotely kind of liked has been corrupted by, frankly, anti-spiral energy. Like you're famous and funny for long enough, and then you start getting the anti-spiral radiation poisoning, and then you have to do What If Mario Met Batman. This sucks. He got the same brain surgery Michael Ian Black did, where it's when I like you, and you are very informative for like a lot of like creative things. and then you are the worst fucking poster of all time, and I lose all respect for you.
Just absolutely drain all creativity and wit from you. I swear to God, in the comedy still sucks now episode, I look back on that and I feel like I feel like we didn't quite make the point that we wanted to make. It wasn't as clear as I'd like. I don't know if it is as convincing as I'd hoped it would be. But then fucking John Hodgman comes out of the gate with literally "What if Mario met Batman?"
Roarious applause, right? Like people are breakdancing. They're like doing the Yosemite Sam thing where they're shooting guns at the air and ground. Everyone loves it.
Yeah, holy moly. All the replies are people being like, I'm living for it. Oh, I need this. Red light, green light, but with soccer balls. Fucking quotes in the Ted Lasso sort of voice about the capitalism death games. Someone says Squid Game is life. One person says, okay, but now I want it. He's doing gangbusters, Joe. It works. What if Mario met Batman?
What if Mario met Batman?
Well, you'd apparently be fucking rich, is what would happen. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Anime Sickos. It's the podcast for geniuses and the only podcast where we take a look at the four pillars of modern misery: anime, gaming, posting, and jobs. I'm Tom, an anime sicko.
I'm Joe, an anime sicko.
Joe, we got some patrons. We got new ones. I'm going to read their names.
We're shuffling. We're shuffling for the money.
We're going hither. We're moving a little bit to the left, moving a little bit to the right. It's kind of a shuffle, kind of a shimmy. You know how it goes. We do it for the cash. And here are the people giving us the cash and filling our little cup with a special coin. First new patron, it's got to be Julian Fernandez, possibly Julian Fernandez. Don't know. No accent on the U. Or would it even be on the U? God, I'm just showing how...
You're being a huge gringo right now.
I'm being a gringo. That's actually Kumail Nanjiani's character in The Eternals. That's his name. It's Gringo. Our next patron is going to be Skylar. I can say that one. That's an easy one for me. I got a slam dunk on Skylar.
Thank you, Skylar.
And our last of our new patrons... going to be Parrish. Again, a slam dunk. Only one way to say that. Parrish. Thank you.
Parrish. Thank you. I like the part where we got money. It kicks ass.
Yeah, it does kick ass. It's quite fun. And if you, for whatever perverse reason, want to give us money, you think that we're providing some value to your life doing this, again, I'll repeat it, free show. There's really very little tangible benefit to paying for it, but if you must pay for it, you can go to patreon.com/animesickos.
The money doesn't like make the show happen because we're doing it regardless. This is kind of like at Cold Stone, if you ring the bell and like because you tipped us and we liked singing and it wasn't like a horrible thing to make someone do. That's what the Patreon is.
Yeah. But we appreciate everyone who does ring the bell because we do like singing.
We do like dancing. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you to all of our new patrons and all of our old patrons. They're all delightful. Anyway, Joe, it's been a good while since we've done a straight up anime episode about one show, not like a concept or a theme or a trend, just one show, like the One Piece episode, the JoJo's episode,
a deep dive.
Exactly. So we were both feeling sort of like got hankering for one of those. So we were thinking to ourselves, like, what's a great anime that we can both watch, or maybe that we've both already seen, that just has a lot of meat to get into. And we came to really only one conclusion. Joe, what's that?
Detroiters. It's perfect. It's a perfect anime. It's a really good show.
Yeah.
It's an achievement of animation.
I mean, the animation is so good that they replaced it with fucking filmed guys in real life.
Yeah.
Also, not made in Japan, made in America by Tim Robinson and Sam Richardson.
Yeah. Here's the fucking thing. We have to talk about this because, frankly, if we don't, we'll die. Like this episode has been like bubbling up inside for a while. Because Detroiters, if you haven't seen it, it's one of those shows where it just starts replacing certain nouns.
Mm-hmm. Joe, you're approaching something that I truly believe here, which is that if the anime sickos were allowed to make a show, like a TV show, like if you got a budget to make like a TV show, and we were the stars and writers, we would make like a worse version of Detroiters. Detroiters is the ideal of what an anime sickos TV show would be.
Yeah, like, I don't know how we would do it, but probably wouldn't feature Detroit so much.
Yeah, that's a problem right off the bat.
And like nothing like against it. Like we just don't really have a lot of experience there.
Yeah, we don't have the lived knowledge. We don't have a life experience. So, Joe, the thing about Detroiters, this is a 20 episode sitcom of 2 seasons of 10 episodes each. I think the first thing that we have to really get across off the bat is that it is the best show ever.
Yeah. It's very good, and it's good from the jump because it's has the correct premise for a show, which is
the ideal premise. Like, what could be better?
It's about 2 buds.
Yeah.
It's the correct choice for narrative framing throughout all of history, because like you got a built-in duo.
You always got 2 guys standing next to each other, so if someone says something, there's never gonna be a time where that's left hanging.
There's like not really a lot of tension regarding will they suck or fuck each other. Like they can focus on goofs. And then no matter what happens, they're buds, and if they're not buds, that's like the story.
Yeah, they're like, we've talked a lot on Anime Sickos how it's so fucking funny, like in Venture Brothers, to just have 2 guys who stand next to each other all the time. How that is such a useful tool for comedy, and it's really, literally the only thing we do. That's the only tool in our toolkit, is that we're 2 guys who are always standing next to each other. And like, like to that point, like there's one episode of Detroiters where like Tim and Sam have to not stand next to each other for an extended period of time, and Tim like immediately loses his mind.
There's a lot of good Tim yelling. There really is. Look, do you like him saying very specific words and honestly the funniest way possible? There's more of that.
And if you aren't recognizing the name that we're saying over and over, Tim Robinson, maybe you'll recognize it more when you hear the name of his other show, the sketch show I Think You Should Leave. Yeah, it's that guy. It's him. He had a show.
Yeah, with his best buddy, and it's great. He yells a lot. So what's the premise here, Tom? Like, okay, it's called Detroiters because it's in Detroit. They have a goal though.
Yeah. So Tim and Sam own an ad agency. They are ad men like Don Draper, except the difference being, 1, they have very healthy and loving relationships, mostly with each other, and 2, they're extremely bad at their job.
Yeah, and this also has like the Venture Brothers thing we love so much, which is you're sort of living in the footprint of the big success generation, because the ad agency they work at quite literally is like frozen in time from when it was like big.
Yeah,
like in the 70s.
Tim's dad was the greatest ad man of all time. Then he went nuts and lives in the nut house now. And Tim and Sam do a very shitty job.
Yeah, so this sort of Mad Men-esque office layout is used to produce very local commercials for car dealerships, pawn shops, wigs, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And this is excellent because this whole business of them trying to like do the ad agency and having no idea what they're doing, like that's us trying to promote podcasts. Like that's what we're doing. Us being like, I don't know. Maybe I'll quote tweet this and write Anime Sickos podcast and nothing else.
Look, at the very end of the season, this isn't a spoiler. This is just a moment of humiliation in the show. Their idea gets shot for a big commercial, and like they bring in like this big director, and he's like getting set up, and they're watching the first take of the commercial, and they're like, he should say friggin' football.
Yeah, because it's like if someone's about to get hit in the head with a football, and like a scientist in the commercial is like, what will make this person not like our product? We have to test. Test number 1, a football. And then like the guy gets hit in the head with a football. And they're like, we think you should say a friggin' football.
Yes, and when they meekly go up to the guy to give the suggestion that it would be funny if he said friggin', the guy just like loses his mind. He's like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You interrupted me for this." And the scene is very great because it's like a production area, so it's all echoey. It's extra embarrassing. It's like getting yelled at in a gym. And I bring this up because like that's what it feels like when we were like trying to figure out how to talk to other people and we're starting this. Like anytime we had any sort of like quote unquote networking thing and we fucked it up. It reminds me especially like there was a moment when for Shuffle Quest we got nominated for something and like they were like, actually, we can't do it because you use Marvel or something.
Yeah, we use the Marvel role-playing system, which doesn't have a legal clause in its sort of like fucking back of the book saying that you're allowed to make podcasts of it because no one made podcasts when it was published.
Right.
So why would it fucking have that?
Correct. And in response to that, we like we thought we had like a good response. We were like, okay, like just isn't this fine under like basic like just goof 'em ups? And the response was the commercial guy yelling at us in the gym. He was just like, "You fucking idiots!
Like,
Do you think I'm going to expose myself to this risk? You fucking moron! Do you think Big Dick Disney is going to let you get away with this?" And we were just like, "Okay, I'm sorry for like trying." And we spent a lot of time crafting that and being like, "We want we want to show we did our homework. Like, we're not wasting this guy's time." And no, it was that.
We said friggin' Deadpool. That's different. Yep. Yeah. It really is. In so many ways, it's just Anime Sickos, the show. I fucking love it. Oh my God. It's just like extremely the dumbest humor ever. And there's so like the jokes keep coming. They never stop. There's like, it's one of those, it's like a 30 Rock style, like intensely dense show where like the amount of seconds between a laugh line is so small.
Okay, so like half the jokes are just like obviously Tim is like immature and like unhinged, but like the reason it doesn't get old is like there's always like this escalation of immaturity that happens that like you can't see coming. For instance, there's an episode where there's like an abandoned office, I think, above them that they go to take dumps in.
Yeah, it's a completely empty bathroom with no one around. Yeah, it's
right.
Perfect. They love
it. And unfortunately, a tech company moves in, so they don't have access to it anymore. And when Sam tells Tim the news, he says, "We can't use the bathroom anymore." He says, "I'll kill you," and he starts choking him. And like obviously that's like funny and escalation. But the thing that really sells it for me is like. After like Sam knocks his arms away
easily
like eight times, and for the record, they're clearly breaking in this scene. You can see it, like they're fucking smiling. After knocking his arms away, he's like, "Okay, you're stronger than me, whatever." Like
he's mad that Sam is ruining the strangling. Like, come on.
Yeah, like there's just like there's a little more area to put like pathetic into. Like I didn't realize that there was still some room left in the corners, and like that's what all of these interactions happen. Like there's just like they just really ring it out.
It's so good, and like there's so many like little weird running jokes that are never the focus that I just love, and it's very Anime Sickos that they would just like put so much effort into these weird things that clearly the reason they're put in is because they think they're so fucking funny. I think the reason that they're masters and we're but the apprentices is that they know to leave them as these very subtle runners, whereas we would like bring them to the front. One thing that I love is Tim is constantly like trying to buy clothing that he cannot fucking pull off. Like there's one episode where just like in a sort of connective tissue scene, he gets a package in his office and it's a Kangol hat and he just like loves it and his eyes light up. He's like, yes, it's here. And like Sam comes in, he's like, what's that? He's like, nothing, I don't know what this is, I hate this. And then like he puts on the Kangol hat and it's like, hey Sam, give me some skin, and like crosses his eyes, and Sam's like, what are you fucking doing? Stop doing that. He's like, yeah, I don't know what that was, I don't like this hat. And then like later they get robbed and they don't steal his leather jacket, and he gets really like, he isn't mad that they stole any of the valuable stuff. He's mad that like, why didn't they steal my leather jacket? It's cool. God, fuck.
Mort Krim is great. Mort Krim is like,
God.
He sort of like guides people through the first watch of Detroiters, because people like laugh and go, haha, what an insane name.
Yeah, he's the newscaster. He's the newscaster they always watch, and he sort of is like a Greek chorus, because when they see their commercials, like when they finish a commercial and get it on air, Mort Krim will come back on after and like say like, that commercial sucked, or that commercial was actually good.
He usually prefaces it with, I don't normally comment on the commercials, which he fucking does every time.
He also does the chump of the week, which is every week he just describes a chump, and like everyone in Detroit loves it, and like it's appointment viewing. Like if someone says like, I had to miss chump of the week, like everyone knows how devastating that is.
Yeah, he doesn't put them online, they said.
Yeah, it keeps him more special. So Mort Krim, hilarious, and everyone who's watching it for the first time says, I love Mort Krim. He's so funny. What a silly name. What great comedy writing to come up with the name Mort Krim.
He's real. Like, that's just a guy.
Yeah, he's an actual newscaster. He was born Mort Krim.
Two-syllable name. Just a two-syllable name.
Mort Krim. Fuck. Oh my God. It you're right that is one of the things that you can tell someone is watching Detroiters for the first time when they talk about Mort Krim, and then you also, as a previous Detroiters watcher, are able to get the little treat of like, he's real, you know, and they go, what? But I think the first thing that people post that tips you off, oh shit, they're watching Detroiters, is diapers. They can hold a man's piss.
This also fits into the running jokes you said before, because they have a guy in the lobby who is just like giving them pitch ideas, like, for commercials.
And most of his commercials are for like concepts, not it's for diapers, like not a type of diaper, but just like diapers.
But like, you just set up that every time there's a scene where they have to go to the office on the way in, he's gonna say, soup, it's wet ass food.
Like in so many of his pitches, someone's dick is shown on screen, or they're killed by the police. Yes. He did. Fuck. It's so good. This guy, like, and that's okay. I don't understand where they got the supporting cast for this show, because Tim and Sam sort of have successful careers. Sam Richardson, he was on, I think, Veep, and he's doing some new stuff as well. I'm not so familiar. Tim, of course, I think you should leave. I mean, enough said. But the rest of the cast is like motherfuckers I have never recognized before.
I think, didn't they get local?
Oh, I imagine they must have.
Yeah, I think they did. Everyone is perfect.
Yeah. Holy fuck.
Detroiters also sort of like opened my third eye for storytelling. It's not really storytelling. It's more like a sort of a goof mechanism. I had all this like ammo laying around, but no way to like launch it. I had these rocks and no trebuchet. I'll give an example. Simpsons porn is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But like why? You gotta have a reason for someone to talk about it, and like you can't just like start talking about it. Like, you have to figure out a way to do it. And these geniuses have shown me that the reason you could just have someone monologue at them insanely as they like have to politely be there. Like, you don't have to, like, why would they talk about this? Well, they're talking about this because they're holding them hostage.
Yeah.
With the crazy story.
They go to Roz Chunks, the mom lawyer, the lawyer who's also a mom, because they need some clients who haven't paid to pay them to get, cash now. And she does not want to pay them. She instead wants to talk about how she's having so much trouble with her son who's busting everywhere.
He won't stop busting.
And, she describes the types of porn he's busting too.
Yeah, and it's just an excuse for someone to look at the camera and say, like, Ned Flanders has a huge dripping hog.
Groundskeeper Willie's always in there somewhere.
He's got a nice piece, too.
Millhouse has blue pubes.
And this whole time, of course, Sam and Tim are just like, oh, okay.
It's so fucking good. Oh, my God.
When we did Sketch, I think one of the first shows with Medley, who was on this as a guest, we had a sketch where the joke was, it was like a mom on a date and she like brought her kid and the kid is just like off the chain annoying. And like, that is the best version of the idea we had long ago, is this Simpsons thing. It's like, instead of a date, it's even funnier because the kid can be doing stuff around the house, like hitting the mailbox with a stick. He can be going through the car and pulling out a shirt and saying, I'm going to bust in it. It's just like the worst child of all time. I also really like it. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? She keeps saying, what are you going to do? And
they're just like, hit him. Hit him.
Oh, yes.
Okay. You mentioned briefly that Tim is unhinged. I want to get a little more into that because that's one of my favorite fucking bits. It's just how, like, these guys are so sweet. Tim and Sam love each other. They live next door to each other. That whenever one of them is sad, they will like stop everything and like, what can I do to make you feel better? They're so supportive. They're the best of
Tim
friends.
Tim is married to Sam's sister as well. Like, so he's like family.
They're fucking family. When the Sam Duvet, which is Sam Richardson's character's name, like whenever there's the Duvet family reunion or a Duvet family, birthday get together, Tim's there. Tim's family. He's part of it. So these are like the sweetest, nicest, kindest people in the world. Tim will become like murderously angry so fucking fast, and it's hilarious. And drop back down to normal just as fast. And he is so goddamn good at it. I think on episode 1. Jason Sudeikis, the producer, is doing a guest spot, I think, so that Comedy Central could be like, look, a celebrity. So Ted Lasso's in the show. They, like, injure him grievously, and they go to visit him in the hospital. He doesn't know that they're the ones that hurt him, but while he's in the hospital, they ask him for something. I think, like, the opportunity to pitch for, like, a Chrysler commercial, which would be, like, their huge, big break. And he's like, oh, no, I actually can't give you that. And Tim just goes like, fuck you, pull the plug, kill him. It's like the way he says pull the plug, kill him, like such like real hatred in his voice. And he's got to be like, I'm not on life support. And he's like, fine, whatever. A masterwork.
He gets super upset anytime a woman shows interest in Sam. It is very fun. Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
No one knows who you are.
Yeah. Like a woman comes up and it's like, hey, can you settle a bet? He's like, we don't know you. Stranger. Bye. Fuck. Oh, shit. Show. Okay, one of my favorite lines of any show is when Sam gets a new girlfriend and Tim's wife, Sam's sister, is like, don't be mean to this new girl. You're always so harsh to Sam's girlfriends. And Tim is like, what are you talking about? Who was I mean to? And he starts listing off some names of like, I wasn't mean to them. And he lists the Worm as one of the girlfriends. And his wife makes a face and he's like, what are you talking about? I was so nice to the Worm.
Yeah.
I was so nice to the Worm. Fuck, dude.
The other running gag here is just obviously there's a bunch of shitty local commercials. Like it's a machine designed to give you stupid local television style jokes.
There is one that is for a mirror store.
Jesus. It's Lindsay's Mirrors.
Lindsay's House of Mirrors. Two incredible jokes. One, they don't know how to film mirrors and are in every single shot.
Every single one. And they're like they see themselves in the mirrors in the cuts, and you could see them trying to duck away and making it worse.
And then this would be incredibly funny on its own. But then the second joke is that the voiceover of Lindsay from Lindsay's House of Mirrors pronounces mirror as mer. Every time. And she says mer constantly. Lindsay's House of Mirrors. Got big mer. Small mer. Baby's first mer. Mer for your house. Round mer. Square mer.
And I mean, it has very Tim energy, which is just say the fucking word dumb. Just again and again.
It works. Dude, it fucking works. I think one thing that really epitomizes how powerful this show is and how well it can take any type of humor and just present it in its best form, set it up for success, is the Connor O'Malley guest star episode. Because normally, I don't really like... Connor O'Malley, for me, more often than not, his stuff's a miss.
See, that's... We're a divided podcast on this. We are. I mean, I will admit that he yells a lot. But the thing is, the stuff he yells is very funny, Tom. I don't know. You got to listen to the words and not just the volume.
He's got a very sinister energy to him that I find off-putting. And I know it's like part of the bit, but I just like, it's so off-putting that it does put me off.
When he has his teeth like bared, he is terrifying. Like objectively.
I can't stand it, dude.
Objectively. Like that's Badger mode. He is scary. Like I fully understand that. Anyway, he's in this and he crushes it.
Okay, yeah. I look at Connor O'Malley all the time. I'm like, yuck, too much. I can't deal with it. Connor O'Malley in Detroiters, I'm like, give him a fucking Oscar. He's the funniest human I've ever seen in my life. Oh my God. He's so good. He does the same thing. He's Tim's younger brother. He's awful. He's the most like off-putting, unpleasant human in the world. He still lives at home because he went to live with his 15 friends in a big house together.
And a gaming house. And quite literally a gaming house.
And then all 15 of them turned out to be backstabbers and liars. He got fired from his job because they wouldn't let him decide when he was going to come in every day.
You love the scene where the mom is saying these things because you always say this is like the Dems talking about Biden.
Yeah, that's MSNBC. Her saying he has to sleep in every day or else he'll lose his voice is what Rachel Maddow says about Biden. It is. It's also it's just a fucking great scene. He's terrible and he yells, like all of his fucking dialogue is just yelling. But something about it, when he is trying to put his clothes into a backpack and Tim is screaming at him.
There's a lot of good physical comedy, in every episode, but that one especially, because Tim gets his ass kicked by Connor like 3 times. The scene that Tom is describing, Tim is breaking again. He was just fucking put your clothes in the backpack I got you for Christmas.
No, he says pack your deodorant that I got you for Christmas, yes. Which is fucking insane because it's summer.
There's also a continuation of the theme I mentioned before, which is like how there's like there will be a way to just eke out a little more juvenileness, a little more immaturity. One of them is like when they're going to look for his brother, and he's like, "Oh, he's in the bed," and it's like, "Oh no, there's a pillow. He's not there." And they throw back the everything, and there's just like a cum stain, yeah. like that's you just had you see they had a choice there. They took it.
Yep, and it's so good. And fuck, God, the thing about Tim breaking, like you can see him. They cut out the audio of him laughing. Obviously, but when Connor O'Malley is trying to angrily stuff clothing into a backpack and is doing an incredibly shitty job of it. And Tim is just fucking cracking up. The thing you have to understand is that was the take where he laughed the least.
Yeah, that was the best one. That was the most usable one. This
good.
all goes back to like people doing things in the shittiest way possible is just funny. Like it's so good.
Like one of their big clients is Smith's baby and teen kid furniture, and it's just like, of course, like yes, that's the dumbest name for a furniture store. Baby and teen kid. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
Yes.
Poorly optimized for SEO as well. There's like some conflicting terms.
I also love they're like Sam's favorite show that he like has to watch every single day in total silence, sitting perfectly still, looking directly at the TV, unblinking, is the New Dance Show with R.J. Watkins, which is like, it's dumb.
It's literally just like it's clearly a local show, and then people come in as like characters and they just dance, and they don't even like, no one gets really eliminated, right?
Yeah, there's no competition. It's just
like people just walk at the camera and like they come like down like sort of a fashion show style aisle doing their grooves, and then that's it. And like actually the only reason we know like who anyone is, I think it's because Salmon is explaining it to his sister.
And like they're like, oh, isn't General Get Down like Dad's dentist? And it's like, yeah, he just does this. And like, oh fuck, it's so dumb. But it's like it's the New Dance Show with R.J. And like R.J. Watkins, the host of the most, is like this big square guy with like such a broad face who looks so tired. Like he has no pep, and he's just like, welcome to the New Dance Show. We're gonna get groovy. And it's like, what the fuck is this? I love it.
Yeah. And that was the B plot of the Conor O'Malley guest episode, is Sam is watching this show with his sister. That's the B plot.
Yeah, because fucking Conor O'Malley is like staying over with Tim, so obviously his wife's gonna go next door to not be around him. Oh, it's so good, dude.
I think the reason Conor O'Malley hits different in that episode is because like he's actually like competent in like a surprising way, because they bring him along for a pitch to the ad campaign, and he like basically does a Don Draper ass move.
Yeah, he is their dad. Like he has the genes that make him the ultimate ad man, and at the same time the genes that make him absolutely insane. I think this is a perfect segue to talk about the fucking episode where Tim's dad shows up. What a fucking reveal when he walks in the room.
Former professional wrestler Kevin Nash,
otherwise known as the tallest, handsomest man who ever lived.
He is so big, and they shoot everything in the funniest way possible. Anytime he's next to him, good lord, everyone questions like, is that really your dad? Did you come from him?
It's so good. Fuck. And he's just like, oh, God.
Oh, and the reason he's not around is he went to the nut house because I guess during a big pitch meeting, he went insane and like opened up his briefcase, which was filled with shit. And also the back half of his pants were cut off. So when he turned around, everyone saw his ass. Yeah. And then, which is a wonderful sort of running thing, is as they go around to these local businesses, everyone's like, I loved working with your dad before he lost his mind.
At the very end, when he's going back to the nut house, he's like, Tim, I want you to know this. When I took the shit out of the briefcase at that meeting, it wasn't my shit. And Tim's just like, Dad, that's worse. It's like, oh. Yeah, I guess it is.
Episode ends with one of my cheat codes for an easy laugh for me, which is something happening in the background that's stupid or like conflicting with what's being discussed, which is like Tim and Sam are like, I think he's a lot better. I don't think he needs to be at the insane asylum anymore. And as they're having this discussion, like you can see him in the rear view window, like do a bike jacking and then like drive it into a bunch of guys.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, like it's it always has to squeeze that goof out.
Yeah, it always has to get dumber. It's so dumb, dude. I love it.
Can we talk about the Boom Teen Club? Can you explain to the class? This is probably the most uncomfortable episode. It's so funny though. Like, I actually don't have a very high tolerance for like the really cringy like stuff. There's something about I Think You Should Leave in general that I'm fine with. I think it's because it's so like cartoon. He becomes a cartoon, so I'm not like watching a human experience this humiliation. But this one kind of is a little rough because there's a club that only admits like teens, right?
Yeah, it's a teen club called Boom Teen Club. It's just for teens. And the original pitch that they sold to the client was a schlubby nerd would say, "You can't party, you teens," and they're like, "Yeah, we can at Boom Teen Club," and then they would like dance. However, Tim has become jealous of Sam because Sam recently was in front of the camera on one of the latest ads, and everyone said he did a really good job. So now Tim is obsessed with being in a commercial. So he wants to be the schlubby nerd. And then when he casts himself, basically by just like insisting, like, it's going to be me, he rewrites his part so that instead of it being a schlubby nerd, he is Mr. Groove, a cool party guy who all the teens respect. And now the script is, "Hey kids, who wants to party with Mr. Groove?" And everyone's like, "We do." He's like, "Too bad you can't come into the Boom Teen Club. It's just for kids." And
the escalation there is the kids are like, "This is unpleasant. I don't like this." Also, like, he's not supposed to be in here because he's not a teen.
Like, why would I want to party with him? And like the client is like, this isn't what we like signed up for. This isn't what the pitch was. And he's like, "No, the kids definitely want to party with me." And he like starts to ask them like one by one, like come on, like you would want to party with me. And like you can see him like getting closer and closer to tears. Yes, they won't want to party with him. And then the next escalation is that Sam becomes Mr. Groove because the kids think he's cooler. And then they further escalate by changing the ad. So instead of it being like, "Mr. Groove, why can't we party with you?" He's like, "I can't party because this club's just for teens." Then they add a stinger at the end of the ad that's like, "Mr. Boom, why don't you become a teen?" And then Sam spins around and little sparkles fall over him. And then he's dressed as like a teen with like braces and glasses. And then they all go partying at Boom together.
Yeah, and then more Krim is like, "Yeah, so a bunch of grown men are dressing like teens to get into a teen club. I think they got that idea from the pervert commercial." Like,
I'm like,
yeah,
at the bar where they're watching Mort Krim say this, and like the news report is like, "Boom Teen Club was closed down forever because of this." As they're saying this, there's like a middle-aged man in the background like spinning around being like, "Become a teen. Why can't I be like Mr. Groove?" It's so fucking good.
That is also a very good theme in the show, which is them at the bar reacting to the commercial they just did and how it sucks. Like,
yeah, they love.
Like it's like every episode. There's basically like them going, "Oh no," just like reacting, just like it couldn't have gone worse, and it's fucking every time.
They fly into such fiery rages when someone like impugns them or doubts them. But like when they step back for even a second, they just instantly like, "Oh, we chunked it. That's terrible."
I think that's key to the secret sauce of the show, which is one, it's clear that like Sam is just like unbelievably talented. Like anything he does, he excels at, which is like a fun dynamic, and also like he's competent. Like he's not like just an idiot, although he is dumb.
Yeah.
And two is that like they're weirdly insightful.
Yeah.
Which is just really fucking funny.
Yeah. That's so good.
But they also don't know basic concepts. Like there's
oh my god.
Yeah, this is like actually I love this joke. I find myself doing this more and more now, just like mentally. Like, what if I didn't know about Blink?
Yeah. There's an incredible runner where whenever someone tells them something like very basic and simple, they will both have like eyes bugged out, jaw dropped, unironic, amazed faces. The best example is when Tim is being harsh to Sam's new girlfriend and saying mean things to her. Like a 3-year-old, like a little kid comes up to Tim and it's like, sometimes I think things but don't say them out loud because they could hurt someone's feelings. And Tim is just like, it's like, Luke, I am your father. It's like someone dropped the most incredible lore revelation on him and he can't believe it. His face sells it so much. It's incredible.
I think one of your favorite eps because it just dangles the joke in front of you and it's like, am I going to do it? Oh, am I being coy? Am I going to do the joke? Is it a family reunion? No, it's
Mr. Duvay's birthday. It's Sam's dad's birthday.
It's Mr. Duvay's birthday and someone there is a clown, but like he just got off of work and he's not working.
Yeah, and he's got another gig after this, so he's not going to take the makeup off.
Right. And the whole time, Tim is just like, that clown is going to do something funny. And like literally the whole fucking episode is just like them dangling that in front of you. The clown, of course, is named Mr. Bones.
Of course. And like Tim sees like a table full of pies and he's like, oh my God. The clown is gonna make these go nuts. And someone's like, hey, I worked a long time baking those pies. Don't be mean. And he's like, oh, sorry, lady. These pies are flying through the air by the end of the night. And he keeps saying, like, I'm not working tonight. I only do jokes when I'm paid. It's my job. I'm not a clown all the time. He's like, when is he gonna do a joke? When is he gonna... And I don't want to spoil it. It's really good.
Yeah. Tim is, of course, right. That's the thing. Like, the joke is being dangled in front of him, and he's wrong about everything, but when he knows a stupid goof is coming, he's right. Like, he's right. Another way the show is like Sickos, when they are coming up with pitches, and they're just, like, saying ideas to each other, and they fucking suck. The other person's always like, yeah, that's good, that's great. Like they have to come up with 100 ideas for the Husky Boys clothing line, and like I think my favorite example of this is Sam is like, Husky Boys, girls can technically shop here too, and Tim is like, yeah, that's good, and that's what it feels like when we're on Discord during work hours trying to figure out like. Do we have a show?
Yeah, what's the show this week? Yep. Husky Boys. Technically, girls can shop here too. It's so good. God damn. And if I may, we've been doing a lot of like specific joke call-outs, which it's very hard to discuss Detroiters without doing that because it's just like it's got some of the best jokes in the world. But if I may pull back the scope a bit to the macro scale. The thing about Detroiters is that, like, it is the easiest show to watch and rewatch. It is, like, a totally friction-free experience.
It is. I think this is how many people feel about The Office as, like, the thing I put on for comfort, whatever. This is even smoother than a random Office episode because it's all good.
You never know. Good. You never know with The Office when you're gonna get a clunker. There's a lot of clunkers. There's good ones, but there's clunkers, and you never know when you're gonna get the one that's like devastating to watch. That like is a really impressive.
Yeah, is this one where like Pam's boyfriend is like weird and it's gonna make me uncomfortable?
Like, is this the one where they go to Michael and Jan's house and like they both live in hell and they force everyone to see their misery as it truly is, naked and howling? It's like, well, that was a great piece of writing and acting to be sure, but man, oh man, that takes a lot out of you to watch it. Detroiters takes nothing out of you. It is like okay.
It puts stuff in you. It's an energizing experience.
Here it is. Here's I think a case study, which is me and my wife watching the fucking Detroiters. We have watched We both love it. We both consider it one of our favorite TV shows. Hilarious. 10 out of 10 show. Can't get enough Detroiters. Love watching Detroiters. My wife can't watch I Think You Should Leave. She doesn't watch it. I mean, she thinks that some of the sketches that she's seen, she enjoys, but she cannot sit down and watch I Think You Should Leave like I can, and she doesn't enjoy doing it. And here I think I'm going to make the distinction. I Think You Should Leave is just the jokes and the yelling sort of boiled down to their absolute purest. The jokes, the yelling, and the unhingedness of Tim Robinson. And turns out that he's extremely good at all those three things and makes for a very funny sketch show. However, it does take a lot out of you to watch I Think You Should Leave because all the sketches take place in a world that is very hostile. It's just a cruel, angry world where everyone is like about to fucking lose it at any given moment, and there's no respite. There's no sort of home base to return to take a breath.
Coffin Flop ends with him just saying, "I'll kill you."
And like he says, "I'll kill you" in that same tone to Ted Lasso in the fucking hospital, but then right away he's just like, fuck it, I don't care. He like calms down immediately. The difference is in Detroiters, you have all that, and then also you have the baseline of this like really sweet friendship where they really care about each other and are constantly standing next to each other. One line that really sums this up is I think someone says something about what if Sam died to Tim, and Sam's like, "Hey, don't say that. Don't even joke about that. We're gonna die at the exact same time, even if we're miles apart. Our hearts will just know." It's like they.
Yeah. There's also that similarly sweet dynamic with the way like Sam kind of knows Tim sucks at a lot of stuff, but like it's about doing it with him.
Yes, like when they do karaoke, and Sam's great, and Tim sucks ass.
Yeah, that episode, the premise is that they came up with a very soulful song for Davro Wiggs, and you can hear Tim and Sam singing on it. Sam sounds incredible. Tim sounds like shit. And he's just like an annoying track put over Sam, and it's so clear that Sam can sing, Tim cannot.
But they got to do it together. It's important because they're buds. And yeah, it's the fact that there is the home base of like at the end of every episode, no matter how insane it is, no matter how angry people get at them or how angry they get or how much they fuck up or how much they go over the line, you know that at the end of it, Tim and Sam are going to go home together and still be friends. And this, I think, is what makes it like the ultimate show because it has all the humor of I Think You Should Leave, which is incredible, but it sort of it wraps it in a candy shell to go down super smooth. To me, okay, this is the feel-good show about like emotional intelligence and friendship that Ted Lasso wishes it could be, because Ted Lasso has those things, but also all the characters are smart and good at their jobs. That's, I think, a real mistake. They shouldn't have done that, because Ted Lasso's fine, but it's not Detroiters. Because Detroiters made Sim and Sam stupid as shit and terrible at making commercials, which it's such a good tactical move.
It's also like not impressive to be kind when everyone around you is smart and competent. No offense, you gotta like that's easy mode.
Yeah. You gotta have a real idiot who's constantly chunking it. You gotta like live in the corpse of your father's success, constantly reminding you of your own failure. And much like the Venture Brothers, Joe, you mentioned the Venture Brothers, it's about the fail son generation, the idiot sons of the generation that succeeded. Just like the Venture Brothers, the idiot failure generation is like way healthier and happier in their life than the fucking success generation ever was. Because it turns out the way that they achieved success was by being insane, evil maniacs.
Yeah, like the stereotypical Mad Men thing. And then it's also clear that Sam's dad just like runs a very tight ship. He basically owns several steakhouses, wants his son to do well, but like he's also a very like was heavy-handed presence in his life. And it's like that's also that, and that's not for him. Yeah,
Sam's dad is excellent at everything, and he basically needs everyone else to do exactly what he would do, or else they're doing a bad job.
And he
So
also,
he's-
like, yeah, his way of doing it is obviously the correct one, and he's always very good about helping people. But like, yes, and honestly, it's a really good episode setup to sort of like establish this, because it's like there's an event happening. It's my dad is great because it's like a big birthday party, and everyone has to give speeches.
yeah, about how good he is. Yes.
Yeah, so you immediately sort of brought into this idea that like he's not just like head of the household, like the entire universe revolves around him.
Yeah, and also after you give a speech, he will critique you on your public speaking ability, which is like, and everyone like fears it, but like it's not out of malice. He just like, well, I know how to do public speaking correctly, and if you do not do all the things, I'll let you know so that you can improve next time.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Which is a good and realistic, annoying dad dynamic that I haven't seen in anything else. Because like you have the over heavy-handed father, or like you will be successful, or I want the best for you. But the thing that is I think interesting here is that how effortless everything is to the dad, and how it's not like that for Sam. Like he tries to take over like a cookout, like he's manning the grill, and like. His dad does it perfectly. Everyone has expectations. He's not a wizard. Like, he's not a wizard.
Yeah. Yeah. And like the dad, even though he's like overbearing and constantly needling, and there's no malice. It's not like everyone's angry at any point. It's great. It's so good. Such a good show. Fuck.
Yeah, the reason I like that is like it doesn't have malice, but it also shows that even without malice, that would drive you insane. Like that is like a crazy making dynamic.
It's so good. Joe, okay. Now, you, a listener, might be listening to this and be like, how come you said at the beginning that there's only 2 seasons of this if it's such a absolute out of a park success? Well, I don't fucking know. It's yet another example of the world we live in is actively hostile to quality and joy and will kill it when it finds it. Because like I legit cannot imagine a better sitcom. Like you take the sitcom formula, a bunch of guys in at their job and home doing little things, and there are little jokes that happen while they go around.
Any order, really. Like I mean, I guess the first and last episode of every season sort of bookends it a little, but you can just watch these suckers in any order.
It's such an easy sell. Funny ad men making local commercials. Watch in any order. Doesn't matter. Fucking rerun them. Doesn't matter. Drop in at any time. You don't need any fucking backstory. You don't need any lore. It's so funny. The jokes, even the running jokes, are funny if you see them the first time. You don't need to know that they were runners. Everything is just fucking perfect. All the cast is delightful. They're so charismatic and funny. You love them as soon as you've seen your first scene with them. There could not be a better sitcom. It goes down so smooth and leaves you feeling refreshed and delighted afterwards. And Comedy Central, obviously, 2 seasons of that, they're like, I don't give a fuck about this. I want more Daily Show with Trevor Noah.
I think they'll probably just keep replaying the Bob Saget roasts. That's to me, if I was in charge, that's what I would put on the schedule. Mm-hmm. Instead of stuff people love, like Detroiters.
Yeah. Essential comedy that sort of redefines what it means to be funny in the current era. Just really groundbreaking stuff that's both very high level and nuanced and exciting as someone who is interested in the mechanics of comedy, but also extremely accessible to the mass market. Why would anyone want that? Why would anyone want that shit?
Yeah.
Why don't you put on some stuff that sucks? Fuck this.
It's very funny. I
don't like what I can't even understand is that like no one has picked it up for like season 3, like no other fucking channel or streaming network, because like holy shit, like the Venture Brothers getting canceled, they got 7 seasons, and that's a show that you do need a lot of lore backup to understand. You do need to watch it in order, and it's fucking animated like really well, so it's got a big budget. Whereas like Detroiters, it's just a bunch of guys standing around. It's just a bunch of guys standing around with cameras pointed at them. Like how How could that be a bad investment? Like, what does it say about this fucking poisoned world that all the people with money, all the moneyed interests, look at Detroiters and say bad investment, no deal? Fuck.
Yeah, we got 2 years of this show, and then the axe.
The plus side really is that it is one of the more rewatchable shows that I know of. Like, there's no clunker. Every other, like, long sitcom, like 30 Rock, great show. Really fun to rewatch. A lot of clunkers. You're never very far from an episode of 30 Rock that just swings and misses and leaves you feeling like, yuck, that blew.
But you have the gambler's high because when they crits, though, it's nuts.
Yeah. I mean, the downside is that you also know that you're never far from a absolute dinger grand slam episode. So, like, you can power through the duds, and when you see a dud, when you recognize you're in a dud, you can be like skipping it. Detroiters, nothing but hits. Like, we mentioned John Hodgman. John Hodgman, we loved him. His humor was as important to us as Detroiters is. But he turned to shit. He got bad.
He got Michael Ian Black brain surgery. It happened to him.
He got the Michael Ian Black disease, dude. Who's to say that Detroiters season 6 wouldn't just be a big dud? I don't know. It'd probably be great. What am I fucking saying? I'm trying to convince myself that it was a good thing. No, it would have been so fucking good. They would have gotten better, dude.
Yeah, they would have gotten better. I rewatched Stella recently, and I used to think that about Stella, but, in retrospect, there is an episode where they work on a plantation that doesn't hold up so good.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I cannot say with confidence that it is without clunkers. But I can say that with Detroiters now.
Yeah, zero clunkers. There's an episode where a car shits. A car takes a dump.
The car shits.
It's just like, how do you live in a world where that gets put into it and the world says, no, you fail. We're taking it away. We're taking away your show. It's, man, it's really despairing. What a downer note. Fuck, we're near the end.
Yeah. Anyway, you can rewatch it. It's not going away, I guess.
Yeah. I hope that Tim and Sam are able to work together more in the future. Sam has been in some I Think You Should Leave sketches. He has really hit on his niche as the host of a weird pageant that doesn't make sense.
Yes. He's also in the fucking Scrooge. What is it? A Christmas? Yeah, it's a Christmas Story, but like Warhammer.
Yeah.
And he's like a guy that comes from the Warhammer universe and's like wearing a mech and he just yells about Lord Boney or whatever.
Yeah, you gotta kill the bonies and then eat the goop so that you understand their humor.
Oh yeah, that Skeletrix, his bones are huge. He's like, anytime he shows up in that, I think the reason the baby sketch is so funny is the Baby of the Year sketch is Sam's like weird like ambivalence towards the whole thing.
Yeah, yes. And then like the Little Buff Boys sketch, like it's so funny how like he just expects everyone to go along with like the carny illusions. It's like surely you don't expect me to think that those are their real bodies. Like, we goose them a little bit. Like, goose them. It's a carny term. We goose them. Come on. It's like, play along. We goose them. So what? And like, that's funny. It's very good. But like, you note that every time Sam shows up in I Think You Should Leave, it's never in a sketch with Tim. And I think like that's such a cruel tease that they're not working together, because those two fuckers were born to stand next to each other.
I bet there's a rule. I bet they made a rule for themselves. So like they don't want to like have, because once you break the seal on that, I bet every sketch is like that.
Yeah, once you break the seal, oh fuck. Yes, because probably like Sam's busy with other stuff. He can only come in for 1 or 2 sketches a season. And like if you unbottle that Detroiters goodness, like, and are able to like pour it out onto the screen, the idea of like capping it back up and doing something else for the remainder is just like, that's not possible. It's going to make the rest of the season feel like shit in comparison. God, Detroiters is a miracle show.
I just remembered a really good example of the characters being amazed by a basic fact. And it's in, I think it was in the first episode, which is Sam didn't know about like girl on top as a sexual position.
Oh my God.
It's so fucking funny because then does he have his vision board?
He has his vision board. It's a bunch of note cards with things he wants that
he wants to do, and like there's a cut of him putting an index card on it, and it says "girl" on top. Yeah, it's just fucking funny, man.
Because Joe, it's their client who tells them that he rekindled his marriage with his wife by doing "woman on top" for the first time, and Sam is like, you think the joke is that this guy didn't know about it.
Yes.
But that little escalation of stupid. Sam goes home, wordlessly, takes the Pitch Chrysler index card off the board. That one's a dud. He chunked it, replaces it, woman on top. Holy shit. What a show. Masterpiece show.
2 seasons is pretty good, though. I mean, like, it's more than we deserve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I don't think we ever explained why or why not it's anime. You know what? I don't give a fuck.
It's anime because there's a very loose premise here that we have to sort of tip our hat to, or the whole thing comes crumbling down.
Yo, you know what it is? It's a gag manga. There it is. Yeah. Detroiters is anime. We proved it. Thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you watch Detroiters. You'll enjoy it. You'll thank us. It is as close as you'll get to Anime Sickos, the TV show. Imagine Anime Sickos, the TV show, and then like double the quality. You got
we couldn't do that good, but like, man, they've captured a little flame that we are like huffing and puffing on that we're hoping becomes a bonfire. But
yeah,
if not, whatever.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for listening. That's all the time we got. See you later. I've been Tom, an Anime Sicko.
I am Joe, an Anime Sicko.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Anime Sickos. I've been Tom, a sicko. You can follow me on Twitter at TomHarrison19. Joe is also a sicko. You can follow him on Twitter at ShariaUncle. You can follow Anime Sickos on Twitter at Anime Sickos, or email us at animesickos@gmail.com. Please leave us a review or something. I don't know. Tell a friend. Anyway, until next time, bye.